What's up guys, this is Astranox. In this video, I'm pushing to champion. The road to champion, there's just a few days left in this World Arena season. And, well, you know what I'm doing. I'm going fast. I'm zooming with a lot of speed, cleaving, bunch of burst damage, doing my combo heroes back to back, different team compositions. I'll be talking about some players that have been naughty and they've been banning some of my heroes that I open with, like Ran, Terra, you know, my watchers, just knowing who I am and how I play. And yeah, let's just ban these two heroes. But to be honest, like, I think that's just a good strategy overall. If you're having issue versus Cleave teams, then that could be really good, because Ran and Terra just enable some crazy stuff to happen. I mean, you got the defense breaks, you got the ignore effect resistance on Ran, 128, 129 base speed. Yeah, you can make some crazy stuff happen. I mean, you got Summertime Hysteria that just like destroys the enemy. You now have, you have Commander Pavel, and he just deals a ton of damage. The way I have him built, especially, my god, right? And well, you're just doing a ton of stuff really fast, really early on, and you're also buffing the team. Immunity buff, attack buff. It's pretty crazy. So what are some of the counters against my playstyle? Yeah, let me help some of you out there even more, right? So counter me even more. But it's okay, it's okay. That's my favorite playstyle. So even when players, you know, they're fighting me, they're just banning Ran, Terra, and that's pre-ban, right? And then you got the ban phase. So with 3 bans, it can be pretty rough. You need to have a ton of speed on other heroes as well. I mean, some of those players, right, ran Terra ban, and then they open up and pick like Sid, right? Like, that's my speed imprint right there. I mean, I got other speed imprints, aka Watcher Shuri. So yeah, you can go right ahead and just, you know, pick both of them, right? While you're at it. I'm gonna be building ML Silk because she got buffed with the speed imprint. She's just gonna fit right into the account. It's gonna be perfect. So I need to work on that. I don't know the inventory in terms of like MolaGora and Catalyst on this account. We'll see what I can do. But like Politis, right? Like, Politis is super strong. I have to pick her early on, and if I don't, the enemy will pick her. The problem arises when you pick Ran, you pick Terra, you pick like Politis. I would go like Terra, Politis, maybe Ran, Politis, and then Terra, I'll delay her. Maybe they pick the Ran or the Terra that I didn't pick. But I'd like to have my Politis because I don't have to worry about dealing with her. And Politis counters so many things that players might not understand how good she is. You know, she's not nullifying combat, just pushing. She's making it, you know, half as powerful instead. Like, you know, 50% efficiency. It's still very strong because some CR pushing here and there allows the enemy to potentially cut in your combo, and that is devastating. They will just straight up win against you when something like this happens. Like, you're fighting a team of bruiser heroes, right? It's like at one game I got, you know, in my matches that I'm showing you guys, there was Green Armin that countered and managed to stun my Commander Pavel, right? Like, he didn't go yet. Like, that's my combo, like a full stun on a hero that deals like the biggest burst damage in my team that was running. Like, that is really rough, guys. Like, that's so bad. It could just make them win, just that one counter, right? So like, bruiser teams can be super tanky, like super tanky, and even like cleavers, right? Like, aggressive players, they're gonna have a lot of speed heroes, but then they might bring that one really annoying hero, like Apocalypse Ravi, right? Like Apocalypse Ravi, you can build her so she can counter Cleave. So if you're going Cleave versus Cleave, and even if you get outsped, you could have a hero like Apocalypse Ravi survive and turn the tide of the battle and make you like win. Like bringing a Senya, let's say, like she doesn't go for a long time, but when it's time to go, she's just gonna deal a ton of damage, and she doesn't go down easy. She's helping the team with a small barrier now, but you know, it's beside the point. Like she just is super tanky, so she eventually goes because the enemy didn't take her down, and then they're just gonna win, right? Like they're gonna win because you're so soft with all your high-speed cleaving heroes, and then they got maybe one or maybe two super tanky heroes on top of the, you know, the other heroes that were like really fast, and they're like trying to outspeed you and mess you up, and it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. So my pre-ban, you know, it's Bellion. Bellion not having souls, I hate it. And also, I pre-ban Edward Elric. He is overpowered. Like Edward Elric, they buffed him, right? Because he wasn't performing too well. And then they buffed him, and he just like, yeah, he's able to pull his own weight. Like, you're trying to land some debuffs against them, and boom, he just triggers, you know, the counter attack passive, attacks everyone, and he can land some debuffs, right? It's random, but he can potentially land silence for 2 turns on you, and that's devastating. I got my Terra going before Ran, so I don't have immunity yet, right? Even if I do have immunity, he can strip a buff, right? Like, so he can strip immunity and put, he can put a random debuff. It's really rough, but if you have, you know, a buff protecting immunity, then you're gonna be fine. So that's the thing. Now, there's a lot of different team compositions that I run, right? Like Ran Terra, you know, picking them early on is good, but then it might be really bad in certain situations. Like, what if the enemy, like, they didn't pick nothing yet? They open up, they pick like Apocalypse Ravi, and then, well, you're going heavy into the debuff setup with Terra Ran. You're going with like, yeah, I bring Politis, 3 debuffers, right? Like, I still have 2 picks to do. Now they pick like Designer a little bit. That's really, really bad for me, right? Now, if I do have Politis, her CR pushing is going to be cut in half, which means that if she's not built fast enough, she's not going to be able to pull through and manage to do this skill 3 to cleanse the whole team. So that's where I'm able to pull ahead, right? Then you can have some players that just bring a Selene, but not a slow Selene, a fast one. And if you don't have Politis because they ban her, or maybe they picked her, which would be really bad, if you're using heavy non-attack skill heroes, then that Selene, right? She's gonna be able to cut the cleansing of debuff on herself, the CR pushing with the attack buff, the blink, and then she's ready to go, right? That is very dangerous because that skill number 3 will take out someone, and she's still in the game. Like, you still have to deal with her. And if you're going with like heroes like Ran plus Terra, that's 2 ice, and they don't hit hard because they're super high speed openers. They're about like helping the rest of the team. They're about the setup, right? The initialization. But then, like, you got that Selene to deal with that's potentially quite tanky. She can bring HP back to herself. Man, she's got an exclusive equipment to get stealth too. Like, yeah, it spirals out of control real quick. So there's a lot of ways to hard counter certain heroes, even playstyles. Right? Like, if you're going heavy with AoE attackers, they could pick Elena. Elena, you need to put restrict on her or have at least Politis with a fast team so you can not have her cut and put invulnerability on their team and win them the game. She can heal, she can cleanse with the skill number 1. She's quite devastating. If she's able to go, you will lose the battle. Unless you haven't able to buff, debuff on them, stuff like that, right? But that's where like Ran is really powerful. Ran, he's got the ignore effect resistance soul burn, and then he's putting defense break, which is the first debuff, the second debuff. The first one is restrict, so even if they have an Angel of Light Angelica, she will be removing restrict, and defense break will stay on the enemy. So you can have a Politis that will counter the skill 2 of Angel of Light Angelica, clearing the skill nullifier, leaving them vulnerable with defense break on them. And that's a great strategy I've been using for a long time, right? But there's so many ways to counter, like Cleave and be countered with like player that goes, that just outspeeds you with some heroes, right? That can open before you. Like without, sometimes they have so much speed because they got lucky, or maybe, you know, they spend money and they were able to get more chances at gear compared to you that might be a free-to-play player like myself, right? Sometimes you might be free-to-play, but you're like really lucky, right? You can have like 300 speed as free-to-play because you've been grinding that Wyvern boss like since the game got released, right? But if you play your cards right, you can get more chances compared to other players that might not go so heavy on Wyvern. They don't craft properly. But a lot comes down to just straight up luck. Like, it's basically luck. Most cases is gonna be about luck, but you can just increase your chance to have more, you know, rolls. But yeah, luck plays a big part. But also running heroes that have super high base speed is the way to go, because you're just putting your speed gear to better use, right? Now let's talk about some counters that are really dangerous. You're playing Cleave, yeah, they can bring 1 or 2 tanky heroes with super high speed heroes and try to outspeed you, and you just lose the battle, right? Even if you outspeed him, you might not be able to take that 1 or 2 tanky heroes, and then you lose, right? If it's an Apocalypse Ravi that brings someone back with skill null, you could be in big trouble. Now another thing is like when they bring something like a Selene, they bring like a Bloodblade Karen. Bloodblade Karen, you gotta deal with the immunity. She's got immortality, right? They could bring like Bloodblade Karen plus Kayron, right? Like Kayron, he's got evasion buff now when he triggers his immortality, his passive, right? So like heroes that you have to double tap, heroes that puts pressure on you to remove their immunity because you have to remove immortality on them. Like if you don't remove it, you're gonna be having some big problems. Like, you know, like they're just gonna win you. Arbiter Vildred. If you don't have a counter to Arbiter Vildred, if you cannot double tap him, like I can do it with Green Sid, I can do it with maybe Politis, cutting his CR pushing, and having some combat genius overflow way above 100% to allow myself to outspeed him and, you know, do the second tap to kill him a second time before he gets his turn. But that's like really unlikely, like especially in the World Arena. Like you can't pull that setup off. So yeah, it's really rough out there, guys. Let us know what you guys think about all that in the comment section. That's it for this one. I'm Astranox. Good luck with all ya do. Peace out for now.